What's up, guys? It's G here, and welcome back to the Grizzly Life podcast. In this episode, Colton and Chase talk about what's on the schedule for the week, as well as a few motivational topics that you can apply to daily life. New episodes drop every Tuesday and Thursday, so make sure to subscribe, follow, and turn on notifications. Now let's get into episode 12 of the Grizzly Life podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Grizzly Life podcast. We've got Colton here with us today. We got G behind the producer chair. It is Monday. Quick turnaround here for episodes this week. And Colton, what do we got going on here? What do we got the week ahead? How are we feeling today?
Oh, how am I feeling today? I'm a little cloudy. I quit caffeine a week and a half ago. I don't know if I'm going to stick with that, but it's
Have
been
you ever, for how long of a stint have you ever gone without caffeine?
it's been a while. I used to drink like one or two. I used to drink like Rain energy drinks, 2-3 years ago, like one a day, maybe a little bit of pre-workout. I don't drink any pre-workout anymore. Started just going the black coffee route once I was on carnivore for the last, 10 months, 9 months, whatever it's been. But for some reason, I decided not to drink caffeine like all of last week and last weekend, and now I'm here. And it just feels like I need a nap all the time. It's like noon, it's like, a nap sounds good. But I think I've just been on caffeine for so long. I didn't think I was addicted to it, but this is my withdrawal, so I guess we'll see how it goes.
Well, it's not like you're a case either where you're dehydrated by any means, right? Like you always put down like 2-3 water bottles a day, right?
Yeah, I'm drinking like a gallon and a half of water a day, so I don't think that would be my problem. So yeah, I don't know. See how it goes. I didn't really intend on doing this. This wasn't like a goal of mine. It just like the weekend happened. I didn't have any caffeine. And then I was like, well, I didn't have any Saturday or Sunday, so let's just kind of run with it. And so I made it all through last week, and I don't have the urge to like need caffeine or want it. I just noticed like kind of like a grogginess, tiredness. So I'm just going to see how long it lasts, and then I can give you guys some insights onto what it's like to quit caffeine as well, I suppose.
I say the diary and the chronicle of how this keeps up for you.
Yeah. So
Otherwise, outside of going through some caffeine withdrawals, what do you got for the rest of the week here? What do you got today?
the plans for this week, Priority and Grizzly. We're kind of recording our podcast a little late. Usually we do it on Sundays. We try to get both episodes done on Sundays. So yesterday I was in Chicago picking up some cool gym equipment just for keepsake, like keep in storage and put into a gym at some point. So that was yesterday, hence why we're doing our podcast today. We're probably going to have to do another podcast tomorrow or Wednesday for our Thursday episode, but we will get it done. We're going to get 2 done this week like we have promised ourselves and everybody else. So that for sure needs to get done. Today was a Oshkosh day. I was at Grizzly O-Town meeting with the guys up there, just kind of going through our team meeting and making sure everything was flowing there good. The rest of the week, I know our PF team has to go to Marquette University for a small little delivery. I know that the guys got to go down to Hoffman Estates for a delivery at a hotel in, I think, North Chicago somewhere, Hoffman Estates. And I also think we've got to make some runs between like Madison and Milwaukee, but nothing too crazy this week for the PF sides of things. I probably also have to run back up to the cabin. I've got to deliver one more treadmill up to the Park Falls YMCA, so I'll probably be running up there late this week.
What does Marquette University do everything kind of like the UW's does, where they do a lot of the Matrix like G7 circuit, or what does that look like?
Yeah, Marquette's a lot of Matrix stuff. They just redid their entire fitness facility. Before they just redid this, they had a lot of like stuff from like early 2000s. Like they actually didn't. They had new stuff, but it was just a very weird setup. So they tore down and rebuilt. So Marquette University has a beautiful facility now. It's all brand new. Everything's 90 or 80% of everything is Matrix now. So
I would say what I heard recently from my roommate Mitchell was Whitewater recently got some new stuff. I'm not sure if it was strictly the cable stack or what it was specifically. I don't think they did a complete overhaul, but it's one thing I always noticed after doing the UW installs, like when we did Oshkosh and like the Nick and obviously Madison, everything's brand spanking new in there. But I think if you're comparing it to a lot of the UWs, it's one of the older setups they got in there. But from everything you've seen, are a lot of the UWs pretty much updated now?
yeah, for the most part. I've not been up to like, Stevens Point is UW, right? Like Stevens Point, like the northern stuff, like the Stevens Point, and the Eau Claires and stuff like that. Like, I'm not sure how new their stuff is, but generally, yeah, the UW system's pretty good at keeping their facilities. At least our D1 UW system, I guess. I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of like the northern stuff. I've only really been Marquette, Madison, Oshkosh. I couldn't tell you what else I've been to. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of a little overview of the week. Our Grizzly team, keep doing what we're doing. We got our team meeting, I believe, Thursday. I don't know if we ever booked a time last week at the end of our meeting, but probably be Thursday, 9 a.m. virtual meeting. So if any of our Grizzly staff listens to this tomorrow morning when this launches, you know what time our meeting is this week, so that's good. But yeah, I think that's kind of a little brief on the week. What do you got going on? Got any consults? You got any?
Couple consults this week. We've got, or today actually, Sophie and I, we went to Amro Community Center. We met with a small group of individuals there.
Yeah, tell us about that. The coffee clutch?
Yeah, so the Coffee Clutch essentially serves as opportunity. They have several different speakers that go to it. Not that it's anything major or some big production. It's really just you can go up there, kind of speak your piece and soapbox on whatever you really wish. I think for the most part, it's local businesses. So in our case, we've been in Amro now just about a year or so, took over last summer, and we were able to kind of say, hey, Grizzly Fitness is in town now. Like, it's great. It's amazing. Like, we take insurance. These are all the reasons that you should have a membership, given A, it's free to you through insurance. And on top of that, we're going to be bringing out more stuff, things that you can do for Silver and Fit or Silver sneakers. Also, like how you can maximize your membership. Like, you'll have a key fob coming 24/7. So just kind of sharing that knowledge with them, because we were speaking with the lady that runs the facility, or operates the facility at least. She was saying how it's a predominantly older or more retired community there in Amro versus if you went like towards Winneconne or Oshkosh, obviously. And just that, I mean, what kind of offerings you have in town there? Like the community center, they said does certain class loads and stuff like that, but just something new and something different that, again, they can use like true strength pieces and they can use the circuit there. So just kind of informing on them. So, or it was good to make face there. And
how many people were there?
that was a small group. It was like a dozen people, but
yeah.
They had a class before that. So pretty much the ladies that were in there, and a couple of people came from outside yet that weren't normally at the class. So still cool to see, still cool to connect with everybody. So served for a fun little morning there.
Yeah, it's something our in the Grizzly fitness sides of things, I feel like one of our focuses right now is like community engagement and like getting involved more with the community. So, what Chase did today was like called the Coffee Clutch, where we just kind of scheduled a meeting at, the community center where this was.
Community Center.
And just kind of did a little bit promotional stuff there and kind of get our word out there. So part of what Grizzly Fitness stands for, being in like small communities only, primarily being in small communities, we're trying to get more involved with the small communities and see how we can give back. And we do donation stuff, with like the schools and that kind of stuff, but we want to help get our word out and our name out. And so something that kind of worked out really well with this event was for the month of April, our Grizzly Fitness goal is to market our insurance memberships. So our goal is to educate that we take insurance memberships, or we take insurance for our memberships and that stuff, and kind of educate. A lot of people might even have insurance. They don't know how it works and that kind of stuff. So all of our locations, besides Oshkosh, which will be accepting insurance soon, accepts insurance, and that's kind of our April campaign. Let's talk a little bit about kind of what we're doing with like our campaign and our marketing aspect, because I think it's kind of an interesting, FYI, today on the podcast, we're just kind of talking, having a conversation and practicing this back and forth again. But we've been working a lot on marketing. One of our Q2 goals is marketing and getting the rhythm down of marketing and how it all works and who needs to be in what role and that kind of stuff. So for the next 90 days, our goal at Grizzly Fitness is to have a really good marketing system, post on all of our pages regularly, get more stories out there, like just practice and be better at the content, get more known, get more seen, all that kind of stuff. So we created this term, or didn't really create this term, but we're using the term a campaign as to what our focus is for the month, right? So our 5 locations, Oshkosh is location 6. So we're looking at our 5 locations aside from Oshkosh because there's a little difference there between them. So for the month of April, our goal is to boost knowledge or let people know that we accept insurance across our 5 locations currently. So the way we're doing that is our goal is to post 1 or 2 times a week specifically to insurance education, let people know that we accept it, and try to get content with insurance members. So like the first week of April already, we've gotten a lot of good pictures of like an insurance member and introduced them on our Facebook, which is great because people love
The community engagement side of things. Like you see, it's no different than say when you have a like true community page, like for small towns. It's the same idea when you can see someone that you see every day, and especially on gym side of things where it's like they're being successful in the gym and they're improving themselves. So I think for the most part, when you hop on Facebook and you can see something local like that, you just connect with it a little bit more versus like, this is our class load for the week, or this is the new like protein we just got. You're just able to resonate with it a bit more and kind of root for that member, if you will.
Yeah, and people like seeing people too, so like that friendly face, that local individual, the smile, all that kind of stuff does better. So that's kind of what we're practicing right now in the marketing aspect is like, what is a campaign and how can we utilize it for our business? So not every single post we make for the next month is going to be insurance, but we're trying to think of a campaign as like the billboard that you kind of drive by, like on your way to work or on your way from work or whatever. We just want to make sure it's being seen, it's out there educating people. So we'll run this insurance campaign for the next 4 weeks. We're not doing like Facebook ads. We're not spending money on this. We're just trying to get a good rhythm of Facebook posts out about, hey, we accept insurance and this is who we are. So that's kind of an interesting little tidbit. We're working on marketing as a whole. There's a lot of stuff going on. Marketing can be very daunting. It's like overwhelming. There's all these different platforms. There's all these different things to utilize within each platform, whether it's a story, a reel, a post, whatever it is. So it's not something that I've always enjoyed doing. Marketing, social media stuff, I've never really like truly enjoyed it, but it's kind of entertaining now, getting involved with it, learning more about it, educating our team, and just trying to come together and be good at it,
Well, there's something like finite details with it too. Like if you look at like a general creator, like let's just say in your case, like your Facebook, your Instagram, and your Snapchat, like you could record something on Snapchat and realistically could just post it as a reel, and you could post it on Facebook as a reel. But there's technically stuff that like converts better too, and that gets more engagement. Like on something on Facebook might not necessarily get as much engagement on Instagram. Like that one freaking guy now that's doing like the morning routine. Like his stuff does really well on Facebook, but Ashton Hall, like the Saratoga water and the banana guy, yeah, that guy. You don't necessarily get the same engagement on Snapchat as you would Instagram, but they're the exact same video, but it's different demographics. Like Facebook, you might get an older crowd versus obviously Instagram, you kind of know you're getting more so. So I think that's an interesting point too. Not saying we're at that point now where it's like we have to make a different video and edit it differently for Instagram versus Facebook, but I think that's an interesting aspect of it as we dive into it more.
Yeah, I was going to say the editing styles too between platforms is interesting and learning all that, but yeah, so that's a brief little insight onto kind of what our Grizzly team is working on, figuring out marketing. Well, it's working on a lot of other things, but the marketing is kind of with us doing this podcast and the Grizzly life, what we're probably going to end up doing with the Grizzly life is separating it from Grizzly Fitness and Priority. I mean, it's obviously separate from Priority Fitness anyways, but the Grizzly life is going to become more of like an overarching kind of just its own brand. It's a mentality. It's a way of living. It's apparel. It's just a good way of, going about life, right? At least in our eyes. It's not for everybody, but so it's not really going to be Grizzly Fitness. Although Grizzly Fitness is going to be a part of it, the Grizzly Life's going to be separate, right? So that just adds a whole nother layer of like our marketing and what we need to do. But since we started doing this podcast, now I feel like marketing has come up in our conversations a lot more. Like, how do we market better, more efficiently, talk to the crowd better and that kind of stuff. And so it will be very interesting too once this podcast, when we truly do start recording it, the content we can use from the podcast, the micro clips and that kind of stuff too. So, but yeah, so that's kind of a little brief on Grizzly right now. I don't know, is there any other like one-off things that we're working on that you want to talk about?
No, I mean, kind of just piggybacking off what you said in terms of separating TGL versus strictly Grizzly Fitness. Like obviously because of the size we're at, they're almost like synonymous with one another, but it really is just a matter of TGL is going to expand, I think, beyond just the brick and mortar locations, and that's where it becomes just as big, if not bigger, by tenfold than say Grizzly Fitness is, and kind of the say products or the services and things that we promote within TGL beyond that even. So I guess that's just where I see it. I don't know if you see it a different way or.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, that's kind of the same direction that it'll definitely evolve and morph into kind of whatever we see fit. And like this podcast isn't really definitive on what to expect in this podcast. I think in 2-3 months time that this whole operation will be much different than it is now. So there'll be a lot of room for growth and different areas, online coaching or like even like I'm not a big like life coach guy kind of guy. Pay somebody to teach you about how to live a good life and that kind of stuff. But there's opportunity there as well, right? Nutrition, life coach, mentality. I don't know. There's a lot of different like areas.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's a good little wrap on that. I think that kind of wraps up this week's plans as well. I would like to throw out there too, a side note, if anybody's listening to this that would be looking for a job, Priority Fitness is looking for some guys who want to help install some gym equipment. It could be for the summer, could be part-time, it could be Saturday mornings. If you really want to help us on Saturday mornings, we'll figure out how to have you help us on Saturday mornings. We are just looking for anybody who's got some availability. So could be part-time, could be full-time, could be summer help, maybe evenings, maybe Saturdays. We can get kind of creative with it, but if anybody happens to be listening to this, which the date currently is April 7th, obviously if you listen to this in 3 months from now, it might be slightly different, but hey, it might not be either. So hit us up, send us an email at, I think, what's our marketing email for this? Marketing at Fitness Grizzly?
Yeah.
So feel free to even email us about that at marketing at Fitness Grizzly. We're also always hiring for gym stuff. So if you are interested in being a fitness coach and you want to help train some clients, or you've got some availability and want to help out around the gym, even if it's for a couple hours a week, we're not hiring everybody, but oftentimes we're always accepting applications. And if we need somebody,
when the right fit comes across, it's
fitness coach is something we're kind of currently hiring for. Somebody who can be a good part of the team, somebody who can grow with the team, maybe somebody who can help us out part-time now as a fitness coach and turn into a full-time player down the road. We're kind of building that whole part of the company right now. So if you want to kind of come and see what it's like, we're building a business within itself right now. It's a lot of fun. So fitness coach we'll be hiring for the immediate future as well. So
I would say starting off with clients off the bat, so we got to chase them down which it's hard to say that anywhere else. So
yeah, we definitely have a different structure to, in quotations, personal training than a standard place. So if you're interested at all, you thought about it before, you like working out, but you're not a certified personal trainer, none of that stuff matters. Just reach out to us. We'll have a conversation if we think you're a good fit for the team. See what we can do.
Yeah, awesome. Do you want to throw your socials out there right away, or?
Yeah, if you guys want to add me on Snapchat, Colton.Burt, COLTON.BURT. That is Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook are ColtonBurt19. Otherwise, Facebook, again, just search me, Colton Burt. So.
And then for myself, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, everything kind of across the board there. It would just be Chase Mastricola, ChaseMastricola, and taking Snapchat content right now, taking a picture of the podcast recording, workouts, everything along those lines, posting stuff about that day in, day out life of the PF stuff on the weekends, the Grizzly life, and at the gym itself. So check all that out there.
Yeah, it's a good call, Chase. If you guys do add me on Snapchat and that kind of stuff as well, I like to post a lot of the stuff. I work out all the time, so I'm always throwing that up there. We've got a lot of sayings on this podcast, like be 1% better, be the best version of you. So a lot of my Snapchat stuff is just kind of throwing that stuff out there. If I'm meal prepping, if I'm eating good, I'm a carnivore. I know I eat carnivore, so a lot of my stuff is meat and eggs that I post on my story. I also, just like I said, I went to Chicago yesterday, picked up some cool gym equipment, so I was throwing that on my Snapchat story as well. So a lot of like you said, the behind the scenes stuff, traveling this place, traveling that place, going to help on this install, seeing a new gym, whatever it is, like that's basically what my stuff's about. Personal life a little bit, but so yeah, feel free to hop on there. And something else I didn't mention earlier in this episode. If this is your first time listening to us, make sure you go back and listen to episodes 1 through 4. 1 through 4 is going to talk a lot about the history of how we got to where we're at now from 2016 to basically current 2025. A lot of stuff happened early on, a lot of growth, a lot of expansion and that kind of stuff. If this is your first time listening, my name's Colton Burt and I'm 26 years old. We own 6 fitness facilities. 5 of them are Grizzly Fitness. 1 is Grizzly O-Town. They are 24/7. We collect awesome gym equipment that you don't see every day. Really cool stuff. For example, I just got a all chrome incline chest fly yesterday For those of you who know what that is, it's pretty cool, pretty rare.
You did get that on the floor today then?
Oh yeah, it's on the floor in Princeton today. So that's like a, I don't know, late 70s, 80s piece. Really cool. That's what Princeton's about as well. But go back and listen to episodes 1 through 4. We've got 5 facilities now that are Grizzly Fitness, one that's Grizzly O-Town. We also own a company that's called Priority Fitness that does gym equipment installs, service, extractions, that kind of stuff. And then currently own 4 pieces of real estate. We are looking at, and not a lot of people know this, but we're looking at maybe adding another 2 pieces of real estate, 1 or 2 this year for sure, but 1 or 2 maybe in the immediate term as well. So lots of stuff going on. Go back and listen to the story. That's kind of where we're at. So something else I'd like to talk about today. This is kind of a side note. This is kind of more of what we normally would talk about, kind of when we go like mentality sides of things. Something that really kind of grinds my gears, I'll say, something that really pisses me off. Being in like not just the gym industry, but this is like everyday life. So I feel like this is applicable to anybody listening to this. And the saying I'm currently using is like own your own shit, own up to what you've done, that kind of stuff. For example, we have accidents that happen all the time inside our gyms. Somebody cracks a mirror, somebody breaks a dumbbell, somebody slides into the side of our building and dents it with their car a significant amount. Somebody backs into the brand new little lean-to addition we put on the front side of Berlin as like a little wind block. We have people, even like, yeah, so we have all these incidents that happen, spilling water, breaking a water spray bottle, like whatever it is. And then people will just like leave it there or not say anything or not own up to it, which is just crazy because instead of me having to go back and look at the cameras and find out who did it and how shitty of a member you are, you can just reach out to us and send us an email, shoot us a text and say, hey, I screwed up. And it's mind-boggling to me because that's not how I was raised. If I would mess something up, and it wasn't on purpose, right? Like if I was trying to throw a dumbbell through the mirror, I probably wouldn't say anything. But like if I'm just dropping the dumbbells, which we don't encourage anyways, but if it's an honest mistake, I set the dumbbell back in the rack and it went over the rack and went through the mirror. We've had members do that and they've reached out to me and apologized and they helped clean it up. But it's not that hard to just reach out and be a genuine human and say, hey, I screwed up. The person who ran into the side of our building in Berlin, which I'm not certain who it was, like our parking lot was super icy. So I understand, like you probably were backing up or whatever and hit your brakes and kind of kept sliding right into it. Like I can't hold you liable necessarily. Like I don't know how I would pursue legal action. It's not like just being a decent person though and saying, hey, I messed up goes a long ways, I feel like instead I'm just wondering who is doing these kinds of things and why, like, I don't know. So I've been recently thinking, you do something, just own up to it. You mess up, just own up to it. This can be personal life. This can be whatever, however you want to take it, but just be a good human. And I feel like this also, I just had a meeting this morning in O-Town. And for example, this is also like kind of a spoof off of this as well. We can keep talking about this because I'm sure Chase has something to say, but we have our meeting in O-Town this morning and Jacob goes in this morning to do the gym walkthrough and check on the gym and see how clean it's looking and that kind of stuff. And he goes in the men's bathroom, and there's just like toilet paper like all over the floor, right? Like somebody, who knows? Like it wasn't dirty toilet paper. It was just like somebody ripped it off and it was just like all over the floor. It's like how many people have gone into the gym probably this weekend? Maybe that happened this morning. Maybe it wasn't. But I'm assuming that it happened yesterday sometime and that 50 more dudes have been inside that locker room and decided, well, it's not my gym. I'm not going to pick it up. It's like just be a decent person and take care of the place. Like care about the facility with us. All of our gyms have lifesavers. Most of our gyms have lifesavers. And there's lifesaver garbage all over the ground. Pick it up. Why is it that hard to walk by it? Our gym in Berlin, the parking lot, there's plastic water bottles or Gatorade bottles or the protein bars that we sell. The garbage is all along our ditch line. Like, just be a decent human and pick it up. Like, just help out and it's a facility you pay for. You should be proud of it. So I feel like that kind of goes hand in hand as being a decent human, owning up to what you do. And, I don't know if you've got any 2 cents that you'd like to add on that. It's a little more of a rant today, but that really does get me going. So,
yeah, I mean, I can get that. Like, not that I'm like completely of no blame either. Like, obviously, like some of the small stuff, like you mentioned, I might bypass, but it's also because it's part of what we do on a daily time of things, like go through, pick up on everything. But even like this morning, like it's usually obviously the worst, say, in the weekends. Like I got in and it's just like there's stuff everywhere this morning when I come through in Watoma. And I don't know, it's just weird that it's not even necessarily a case like, yeah, I get the people where it's like, oh, well, it's not, I didn't do it, so why would I put it back? But it's like the stuff that you do intentionally pull out and then you leave it all over the place. I guess that's the stuff that bothers me and irks me more. But
yeah,
I don't know. I also it's coming from a side where it's like I pull out all the equipment for the session. I have to obviously throw it all back in after, say, clients leave. So, but
yeah,
that's just, I think that's a gym problem everywhere, though. Like, that's obviously not localized to us, but there's just more moving pieces. Like, we have all the garbage that can get generated. And
yeah. The weights being left out is like one thing. People leaving plates on machines, like, I get it. It happens. It's like a gym thing. I hope that you remember to put your stuff back, but I understand some people get sidetracked, but whatever. But like just walking into the gym, like I know if you were to take 30 seconds to not be on your phone trying to find the perfect song to walk into the gym or shaking your shaker for your pre-workout or whatever you're doing, and just look like in a 10-foot radius, there's probably a piece of garbage that you could help pick up and keep our facilities looking better. I see it all the time. I can't not see it just because like I own it. And so it's hard to get everybody else to think like an owner. They're like, I don't care. I pay $40 a month, $30 a month for this place. Like, what does it matter to me? But I don't know. I think that those little things go a long ways. And I think those habits, those personal habits make you a better person too. So it's not like just there, but you go to Quick Trip and you see some garbage floating around, grab it and throw it away. Like just help out and be a decent human. So I don't know, but breaking stuff or damaging stuff and it truly being an accident, I don't know why people don't just say, hey, I had an accident, this happened, whatever it is. Like, it's not, what am I going to do? I'm just going to say, like, I appreciate you reaching out, thank you for being honest with me. So, anyways, that was my one pointer for the mentality aspect of the grizzly life, the way to live and be.
well, like you said, just own your shit. Like, I think what you'll see more often, and I think we mention it too in, say, meetings or just like one-on-one conversations, is the whole idea of when you win, obviously you take credit or you give it to the team or whoever it was. But then whenever something doesn't happen, like say something we missed say we wanted this many testimonials or this many reviews in a month and we come up short, and that's easy enough for us all to be like, oh, we didn't do that, or like this was supposed to be this person's task. Like,
Yeah.
just wear it as like in our case, like let's say I had like a trainer complaint or something, like, well, that's more so on me than it is them. Like either I didn't teach them something or it wasn't communicated properly or I wasn't doing my job to constantly kind of like reinforce that message. Like just kind of wear it when those things come up versus trying to like poke it around and like
Yeah, I don't need to
shred out that blame.
pawning it off and that kind of stuff too. And something that I've noticed too as like becoming a leader, developing into a leader, there's always things that I can work on. There's always things that you can work on as a leader of coaches and fitness. There's always things that we can work on no matter what leadership position we're in. And again, I think everybody's a leader in some aspect of their life, whether it's at home, being an older sibling, being a spouse, being a fitness director, a business owner, whatever. There's somebody that looks up to you, right? And that's kind of something I've been saying. But something that I have been trying to do a very good job of is just take the blame for whatever, maybe it's my fault for not explaining to you what you needed to do. My expectations of you for this one project was, so it's my fault as a leader because I didn't lead you the right way. And now I'm going to tell you what my expectations are again, and we're going to move forward. And I don't need to be like, Chase, why didn't you get this thing done? I'm going to approach it completely differently and say, hey, Chase, I apologize. I don't think I was clear enough. Let's work on this way and give you a better vision. I'm also a leader that has a lot of different ideas and a lot of things come out of my mouth. So sometimes it's hard for people to understand what direction they need to go if we're not being very direct and honest. But just like you said, owning up to it, and instead of just trying to like push the blame around, like that's something that we're coaching on our PF sides of things and our Grizzly sides of things is positive attitude, but also like just taking blame and saying, my bad. I forgot to load a piece of equipment for so-and-so for an install. My apologies. I forgot to grab parts for Colin for routes yesterday. That's my bad. Just own up to it. And I think that's kind of the best way to just go about life is just being, there's no need to point fingers, just kind of take the blame where you need to and kind of move forward. So,
And like you mentioned too, with the whole, I think it's usually just a communication thing, because especially in those cases or the instances where, say, the accidents do happen, like you mentioned, or you're reviewing, like, say, your numerics and your numbers for the quarter, like, it's just more annoying, I think, when you're being reported to, and it's just like, oh, well, I don't know, or it's like I ran off time, or I don't know, like, what should have happened of it. It's just almost admitting fault to, like, I didn't prepare properly, like, I kind of prepared myself to fail, versus just trying to find a way out or find an excuse to it, because excuses are just that, they're excuses. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, that's something too in a lot of our meetings, like when we do our round tables and, hey, Chase, did you get your reading assignment done? And Chase goes, oh, I haven't had time. It's like, well, I'm sure you had time. Like, you're better off just saying, I didn't get to it. That's my bad. I didn't prioritize it. Coming out and saying it right away, like, dude, I totally didn't prioritize it. Like, it's my fault. There's no excuse. That's like the best excuse. I'd rather you just be straightforward like that. And I'd be like, all right, let's get back on track for next week. And like, it's no big deal. Instead of like, I had no time. I was so busy running around and blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, just own up to your mistakes and move on. Like, it's not the end of the world. It's not like, So yeah, it's an interesting, but yeah.
you feel better.
Yeah,
You
well,
alive, you energized.
the rant of the just owning up to your stuff. I don't know what happened. Something else happened the other day in the gym, and so that's what made me think of this. But just be a good human and take care of your own stuff. And yeah, I do want to. This could probably be an episode in itself, and this will be like kind of the last thing I say here, because maybe we'll expand on this for a whole other episode. But mental toughness is something that I work on a lot as well. And the only thing that I really want to talk about this episode regarding mental toughness is something that I've been trying to say is like, you need to do the things you don't want to do, or you have to like doing the things you don't like to do. That being said, I take a cold shower 3 times a week because it sucks and it's super cold and it's annoying and like I don't want to do it. And every time you're standing outside the shower before you just go in and it's like super, I don't take a warm shower and change it to cold. I start out of the shower and like immediately like shock my body into like cold water. So that mental aspect of like doing something I don't want to do, I forget, there's some study out there. It develops another part of your brain.
Yeah. Oh God, I saw a video on this a while ago. It's the flinch or something along those lines. Like, when you start to seize up at things you don't want to do. And the cold shower is the prime example, just because it's a very temporary pain. Like, once you turn the water off, you're not in pain anymore, obviously. Because we were going through like the science of it, like how much cold exposure do you really need. But then this is what we started talking about, was more the psychological side of it versus like the physical benefits of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think and so like you don't have to take cold showers, but finding things that, even just having the instinct to react like, I don't want to do this right now. And this could be something so small, like so lazy to clean my room right now or whatever. But like that, I'm actually reading a book called The 5-Second Rule right now, which is interesting because it's like the same mentality. But getting out of bed and just doing what you want to do right away, waking up in the first alarm.
That's what I was going to say, was like even smaller than some of the examples you're using. Like, when your alarm goes off, just like rip your blanket off.
Get up
and, like,
right away.
Up.
Yeah, exactly. Like that kind of attitude will help build that aspect, that muscle in our brain as well. So I purposely put myself through a cold shower because I don't want to do it, and it's just going to make me a stronger person. I was watching a video the other day as well from like a mentor style person, and I want to say it was like, his example was like the Apache Indians or something, right? But he was reading some book or watching some documentary or whatever it was, and when these babies are like 2 and 3 years old, they get they like get bathed in cold water, cold showers, whatever, as like 2 and 3-year-old babies, and the baby just sits there and cries and it's extremely cold. And their reasoning is that it's building their child to be brave at a young age and doing things it doesn't want to do and things it doesn't like. So just kind of an interesting thought there as well. I think our human civilization, or our time, it's kind of, everything's gotten easier. We've got social media, we've got our phones, we sit around, we just do what's comfortable. We eat the food that is just easy to buy and cheap and all that kind of stuff. But I really think it's important for mental toughness aspect to like do the things you don't want to do. Go for the run in the cold, go for a run in the rain, go for a walk when you don't want to. You have to get your steps in before you go to bed. It sucks, but I didn't get my steps in at 8 o'clock at night. I'm gonna have to go get my steps in now. Like, I don't have much of a choice. So just that aspect, getting up right when the alarm clock goes off, all of those little things, they add up. And yeah, I don't know. It's just an interesting take. A lot of people probably don't think like that or understand that, but doing the things you do not want to do is a game changer, I feel like. It just starts your day off right, too. I mean, oh, man, I already accomplished so much. If you do it in the morning like I do.
Yeah, and like mental toughness isn't like it's not going emotionless sort of thing. It's just doing hard things, not necessarily being like beating the hell out of yourself because you didn't hit certain goals. Like that's more just like conscientiousness and having the future in mind and being self-aware. Like we're not saying obviously you got to go be a complete hard ass. It's just do difficult things for yourself.
Yeah. Do the things you just don't want to do, the hard things. I mean, yeah, that's exactly right. So that's kind of a couple of the little things I want to touch base on. Is there anything else you want to add, or you want to kind of wrap her up here?
No, I think it's a good stopping point with just kind of wrapping up again. Just further emphasizing like get 1% better, do something today that or improve on something today compared to yesterday. So just kind of driving home the message every day of getting 1% better.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think that's kind of all I've got. I think the mental toughness aspect, we're not going to really expand on that because I do feel like that could be a good segment of like a full episode or, 10 or 20 minutes part of an episode. So like Jay said, go out and be 1% better. Strive to be the best version of you. It doesn't need to be fitness and health related. It just needs to be what you're currently doing. Let's just be a little bit better. We don't need to do a full 180 or 360, a life-changing thing. Let's just be a little bit better than we were yesterday. If you want to change your diet, figure out what you're eating and change one piece of that diet. Don't go an extreme and go carnivore because Colton likes to do it. Just nice and easy. Going cold turkey on your habits is extremely hard. So one step at a time, 1% better. We wish you guys the best, and we'll see you next episode. Peace out.